I don't know if they let you join, 3 people join or 4 people join.
Still sitting here a little bit of feedback, hoping they.
Hold up, I got another iPad. Hold up.
How you request to join share?
Can you join? Can you join the live? Or you only can join 2 at a time?
I think you only could do two.
All right. So you joined in. I'm back off. So I got control of all this other stuff anyway.
All
Let me
right.
see how I get off here.
Might have to plug my phone up. Hold up. Let me go get my phone charger.
Damn, I think it's there. Man in the building. First live for the From the Crib podcast.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna wait for a couple more people to join before we get started. Let me.
What's up, family? Think I'm knocking stuff over. This nigga Matt stupid.
Shout out Matt. You can't join the live, Phil?
I'm about to try to tell you to plug in my cell phone.
We get started shortly.
Sir.
Damn, who got the Facebook live chat?
So I might have to. I should probably get on there.
Yeah. And YouTube, the YouTube live chat too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got both of them up. So
All right, bet. And you, AK, you can click the comment and put them on the screen too. You should be
yeah.
able to. We're gonna get started.
I ain't
Yeah,
bet.
it's not. It's not letting me. It's not allowing me to join that joint, bro.
I'm gonna send it to you again. Hold on. Try now. Phil don't know how to work his phone. He'll like Shannon Sharp.
No, I'm on there. Hold on, let me see. I don't know why it's acting like that.
If you're watching this on live right now, hit our link in the bio and watch this live from YouTube and Facebook. Right down.
My
Let
phone
us
got
know
me
where you
doing.
watching from right now. What platform you watching on right now?
My phone got to allow permissions to my microphone.
It says you're unable to join. This nigga don't know how to work his phone. Yeah, you gotta go to the settings of the what Facebook looking like.
Yeah, I'm trying to find where you go to.
You gotta go to your settings and make your
You gotta do what?
go to your settings and go to the app and activate it. Come on, Phil. Forget it if you can't know how to do it.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know how it's working. It ain't working.
All right, let's just go ahead and get started.
Welcome, fam, to another episode of From the Crib podcast with your boy Philly Cash, E Foster, and K with the tech.
Yes,
What's
sir.
going on?
What's up, people? We live for the first time.
Yeah, so like, follow, subscribe, send questions, comments to the chat. We making this an interactive show today. It's gonna be live, baby. First episode live.
Yep.
So I'm gonna get into the first topic. I know you guys probably been seeing it on social media with Bill Belichick and his girlfriend. It was an interview they did with NBC where she kind of interrupted multiple times when asked questions about their relationship, stating they won't be talking about that today. And then it was a lot of feedback from when she was on the football field, pretty much side by side with him while he was coaching the team. So, what you guys think is like a little bit too much when engaging in relationships when it comes to the workplace?
Yeah, it's crazy. And it's crazy how like somebody so young can have an influence over somebody. What he's in his 70s, something like that, right now.
Yeah,
So
early
it was,
70s.
I think, in his 70s, right?
Yeah.
So it was interesting from the clip that I saw was uh when they got to the question about how they met is the first time she tried to jump in and was like, no, we're not talking about that. So it's
Right.
like obviously it was some scenario that they both probably not proud of, and again, nobody says anything about this 70-something-year-old man dealing with this 20-something-year-old female, and it's
Yeah, I
like,
believe she 24.
yeah, I mean, the same, like a similar situation to Shannon Sharp. Like, I don't understand what the thing is with these old men dealing with these early 20-year-olds. Like, I don't like what did they even talk about? And it's so like obvious. It's so obvious the intentions of the younger person. And it's like you obviously are there for the money. I also saw something where they said she already has like a $8 million portfolio of properties that she got from him in this short amount of time. So it's like you can see clearly what the motive is with a 20 something year old female dating a 75-year-old man, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
nobody says anything about it.
Yeah, that's crazy. Was she? Is she just? Was she an OnlyFans model or something like that, or is she just a regular
No, I mean
chick that?
I don't think so because I felt like if that was the case, some stuff would have been came out. You know what I mean? But I haven't seen anything like saying like it. She just younger. You know what I mean? Nothing negative really came about it. Like no previous boyfriend stepped up and said she was a certain way or nothing like that. Like no bad publicity really.
So
But
they never said how they met or nothing?
nah,
No, that's the like I said, when they brought that up in the interview, that was the first time she spoke up and said, "No, we're not talking about that today." So she doing they doing an interview with Bill Belichick, and she just
Hmm.
off on the side. And when they asked him that question, she jumps out like, "No, we're not talking about that today."
Oh shit.
So it's like that's crazy.
it make you wonder what type Tom that might be his. You know.
Mm. Yeah, I think that's a weird scenario for real because Bill Belichick in his 70s, she in her 20s. I would want to know how they met because they would, it would give some type of direction on where that relationship even comes from because that sounds crazy to me. And then plus with all the stuff that was going on with the Patriots and the owner with the massages and stuff like that sound they too like intertwined. Like,
Right.
it sounds like it's too much stuff going on
Yeah,
over
too
there.
close for comfort.
Like all that weird shit they be going on over there is wild.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people are talking about it because he just stepped down to the collegiate level, and it's like UNC, they talk about like it's a distraction from the program because it's bad enough like the dynamics what they think Bill Belichick stand for as a coach as being like a hard nose. He's not going to relate to the younger people. For him to have like a younger girlfriend now, he on social media, and it's like, are they hiring him to be like the distraction, or are they hiring him to turn the program around with his strictness? But it's like that we seeing a different side of him that we didn't see when he was winning them championships with the Patriots. You know what I mean? So I think that got something to do with like why a little bit of his personal life is being exploited a little bit how it is right now.
It already seemed strange to hire in the first place a multi Super Bowl winning coach leave and go to college. Like it just seemed like a strange hiring and a
Yeah, is a motive behind that.
yeah. Like what's the purpose of that? Like you've already reached the mountaintop of football. Like you really don't have
The
anything else to
pinnacle.
prove. Yeah, like you don't have anything else to prove. You 70 something, 75 years old, and you go back to North Carolina. I can maybe even see if you went to Alabama or something. You go back to North Carolina, just a middle of the road program to
Right.
do
That's
what?
not really known for their football like that.
Right, to do what? To do what?
and
Right,
it's
yo.
and and it's a crazy transition because it was like a changing of the guards when a few years back when Saban stepped down from Alabama, and then Pete Carroll was no longer with the Seahawks, so they was all in that kind of same era. But now you see that because I believe Pete Carroll got rehired for the Vegas Raiders job, right?
Hmm.
So it's like, is he just trying to get in? He just trying to stay in it for some reason. But you're right, it is
And
a like a
the
off-putting
timing is wrong.
hire.
The timing is wrong. If this was 15 years ago, and you say Bill Belichick is going back to the college game to turn a program around, okay. But now, like with the
Yeah.
NIL, these kids don't want to go play for Bill Belichick.
Right.
Like, what they gonna go play for Bill Belichick for?
Do you think it's a side of Bill Belichick that want to prove people wrong a little bit? Like he might have went to a tough situation to see if he can like rise to his own type of glory. Because I think when it kind of tarnished his little legacy a little bit when Brady stepped to the Buccaneers, won the Super Bowl without him. Do you think he chasing some type of like storyline for himself to be like, yeah, I was a great coach. I could take these kids in the NIL era to a playoff game if that's
He
his, you know
he
what I
trying
mean?
to write the wrong story because this story ain't gonna end well. The story not gonna end well, and like nobody expects them to be in contention for the NCAA playoffs. So what are you really doing? What's your real motive to go back to a school environment around a bunch of 21, 22 year, 18, 19, 20 year olds at
Then you
the age
answer.
of 75?
Then you better answer your own question. Yeah, that man. Yo, he might be on some moves, bro. I don't know.
Like, what's really going on the campus right now?
Yeah, yeah, because I mean, yeah, this is the worst time to try to turn some program around, especially with the NIL. I agree. Like this ain't like, hey, if I could go to a fun, I can have fun playing football. I can get money. I'm not about to go to the most strict program there is as a kid. I'm not about to do that. So I
Mm.
don't see the benefit in trying to do that. You know what I'm saying? So hey, each his own. This is not the era of strict coaching. And Phil, you know that firsthand. This is not the era when you cursing kids out and making them feel like they worth shit, and then expect to keep them before the transfer portal open up. So I think this is like a, hey, look, let me see what's out there type of shit. I don't know.
Like,
Right.
you gotta think, even in the NFL, you had players that's getting paid millions that didn't want to play for him. You had players that went there to play with Brady, but the negative side of that was they know they weren't gonna have fun at practice. Know it was gonna be a strict environment. You think these 17, 18, 19-year-old kids this has the opportunity to get NIL deals, that has the opportunity to go to these party universities and wild out with more money than they ever had before, want to go play for that?
Yeah.
They don't,
But
bro.
look, but I think y'all looking at it. If you think about it, y'all looking at it from Bill when he was winning them Super Bowls. This is divorce Bill with a 24-year-old girlfriend that what I mean. He's in a new space. I don't know if he's still in the space of being locked in, like what I mean. So is it like is he going to defy the law? Is he going to be one of those transcendent people that, regardless of his age, he try to like reinvent himself into a new era of football? Is that like
No,
because he been on?
you gotta think about the way college football is 90% based around personnel. If you don't have the personnel, you're not going to compete. In New England, he had a GM, he had a salary cap to make sure that his talent was on par with the rest of the league.
Hold up. You
Right.
go hold on. All right, I'm gonna say defensively. I say defensively, he got the talent, but offensively, he was making white receivers look like putting up numbers.
He was what Tom Brady was.
See, this is why he had to go to UNC to prove you. It's like, nah.
He ain't had to do that. He could have proved it in the NFL when he left, but he couldn't.
You couldn't.
Yeah, this is valid. This is
He
valid.
couldn't. He couldn't. And you're not you're not about to do it on a college level, especially with these kids wanting to have more of a fun experience in college. You know what I'm saying? And regardless of he in a new phase, he hasn't tested this new, let's just say he has a new found way to coach. He's been coaching the way he been coaching for 20 plus years, bro. Like he's not about to be like all of a sudden change his coaching style. So it's like he gonna have to lean heavily on his support staff, his assistant coaches, his, stuff like that to get that feel for the that have that personality to relate to the kids. But he not gonna have that. He don't. He has been working with grown men for the last 20 years.
And
So
then
I
you
don't.
also think about the freshmen coming in. You got and I equate this back to Ella's situation when he went to college. Think about the freshmen coming in that would like to have their same coach to be out there 4 years. What's the likelihood of him being there for 4 years? I would say slim.
Right.
Hopefully he's here and on earth for 4 years. So those players are not they're not going to have no there's really no benefit. There's no long-term stability. They're not going to have fun. They're not going to have the best talent there because there's not going to be a lot of the top talent they want to go play for him. The only thing they really do have going for them is North Carolina is known as one of the biggest party schools in the country. So if they just go in there looking to have fun off the field,
Right.
then maybe. And if North Carolina has a lot of important people behind them, including Michael Jordan, so I'm sure they have some
That's
NIL
what
money.
I think. That's where the pool gonna be though.
But even
Mm.
with all of that, are
Sometimes
we
it's gonna be
expecting them
like
to win any games this year?
if
Or
I'm
not win
recruiting
any
for
games,
you.
but be in contention for a championship?
That's what I'm saying. If I'm recruiting for UNC, that's some selling points though. Party school, backed by Jordan. On top of that, Bill Belichick probably sure. I'm pretty sure Bill Belichick got some type of pipeline to the NFL, whether it's like with his connections or coaches that coached under his umbrella. So that's a huge selling point in my opinion. If you want to go be prepared like a pro,
Their only route to winning is if they can somehow get one of these top of the line quarterbacks that want to go and play under Belichick and try to learn the way that Brady learned coming up. And his this one quarterback elevates the play of the whole team. That's my only route I could see
that's
them
asking for a lot.
being a competitive team.
Yeah. It's not, but they not finding that because you got to think Belichick wasn't the quarterback coach either. So it's not like he was under his tutelage when Tom Brady was over there. You know what I'm saying? His success didn't come from Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick built the foundation of how the team is ran. But as far as individual coaches and what they put into Tom Brady or what they put into Deion Branch or what they put into Mike Vrabel, those wasn't coming from Belichick. The disciplinary part and the sternness and the focus of which you have to be a champion, yeah, that maybe been trickled down from the top. But you're not going to be able to do that if you don't find those players that embody that. Unless, and that's another part. Maybe that is a key part of why he may have success if he does a good job recruiting those types of kids. It's like if you can recruit a Ty Law that with them or a Teddy Bruschi with that mindset or like a Tom Brady mindset type of kid, maybe that's the formula for him to build that foundation for that type of organization. But that will come from the recruiting side because your team is only as good as the kids you recruit. Are you going after the top 5 player in the nation who like wearing chains and wearing grills, or you gonna go to that kid that's in Iowa that does everything right, great family that wants to have him in a stable foundation place? That might be the kids he a target. You know what I'm saying? Those disciplinary kids, like they might run like Army and Navy. Like they're not the best schools, but those players are disciplined. If you go play them, you know what I'm saying? So that might just be a recruiting thing, and it might help him on that end if they just can recruit the right players.
Right. All right. So leave it to the chat, man. What y'all do? Y'all think Bill Belichick was a good move to UNC or a bad move? Thumbs up if you think so. Thumbs down if you don't. Like, follow, leave a comment. We're going to get back to that topic. All
Yeah.
right. I wanted to talk about the question that got the internet going crazy right now. 100 men versus one gorilla.
Mm,
In a fist to fist combat battle, no weapons. What's y'all take on this?
I mean,
Go
Do
ahead.
you think
uh, I say, I say, I feel like 100 men will overtake a gorilla, and I only say that because you gotta take account of the different angles that we can come at them to the point where you could choke them out. You just need a good brave 20 to really grab limbs, and then everybody else got to come and support. But I feel like you can subdue 100 because you gotta think what 100 people look like, bro. I don't even think 100 people would even get to a point to even touch the damn gorilla.
Right.
You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
that part. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta think 100 people, bro, in the one gorilla, bro. You're not even gonna get close enough to touch the niggas unless you just pile up on them and shit.
That's why I think the number is really more around like 20. Like you gotta think about all the people that's on a football field at one time for both teams versus a gorilla. Like that's more accurate of people that actually would be able to get in contact because you got to think 100 people. You're not
That's a lot of
even
people.
you're not even getting in vicinity.
Yeah,
I think it's a detail with that question. Like it has to be a detail with the question because like what 100 type people we talking about? Are we talking about a football 100 football players? Are we talking about like what is the athleticism age range
Let's
and
just
skill of
say
these people? You know what I mean? And
let's
you
just say
saying it don't
100
matter?
average. Let's just say 100 average athletic people with from the age of 20 to 40.
yeah, they taking down the gorilla, bro. Because you gotta think.
I don't
Because you
know.
gotta
I
think.
don't know.
I feel like 20 people can flip a car. You know what I'm saying? Like 20 humans can flip a car. I don't know how much a car weigh, but you could if you get 20 people with decent health, they could flip a car. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like
I don't know.
I do
and
feel like some people will die though.
yeah, somebody
I'm
gonna get
about to say, I'm about to say, like, if y'all think 100, if y'all think, because y'all kind of saying it like seamlessly, like,
Oh
yeah,
no,
a
it's
hundred
not
people
gonna
just
be a
gonna whip
slow.
a
It's not
one
gonna be a
gorilla
slow.
ass, like it's just gonna be like maybe like over 50% surviving.
And you gotta think about what type of gorilla you talking about too. Are you talking about a gorilla that been in the wild his whole life? Or you talking about
Yes.
or you talking about a gorilla that been in the zoo?
I don't know,
I don't
bro. I
think
feel
that
like
don't
the
matter.
first if one person come in, I
The
can imagine
temperament, the
them getting.
temperament is different.
Yeah, but I get what like the first person that get touched, he at least getting thrown into like 10 other people. Like, and you see how people can trip and fall or just go like he throw a person into 10 people. I think that's hurting like the average people, bro. Like a lot of the
Yeah,
average people.
it
Like,
definitely would need to be coordinated.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Definitely would need to
Because
be coordinated.
they
But
can't just be because I don't know if y'all see, but the average person that y'all named in that range, what you say you said between the ages of 25 and
let's say
40.
20 and 40, which
I
means
don't know if they taking no
I
gorilla,
wouldn't be
bro.
involved.
I don't know if they
Mm.
take 100 people. Y'all seen them in the wild, bro?
Yeah, bro. I just be thinking about how niggas be tackling Derrick Henry because you be like, like you can slow that nigga down, bro. Like I feel like you hit a nigga at a certain at all these different type of angles, bro. You can tackle this nigga and get him subdued.
But he might be powerful, bro.
I don't know, bro. 100 people is a lot of people, bro. That's a lot of people. 100 people is a lot of people.
And
Yeah, we gonna have to take this question to the chat.
somebody need to together a pay-per-view and make it happen.
Shit, I don't know who gonna sign up for
Them
that
people
shit.
they signing their life away for that.
People will sign up for if that pot big enough. I tell you that.
You trying to bring back the time of the gladiators. You know, when the gladiators they used to put them in the Coliseum against anything.
Yeah, I'm about to say I wouldn't be surprised if that's back in our history has not already happened at one point somewhere.
Yeah. I ain't
Heck
never
yeah.
seen I ain't never seen like a gorilla on camera like fuck a human up though either. You
What
know
you
what I'm saying?
mean?
Like
I'm pretty
like
sure.
I seen people jump into like a zoo cage and then they get dragged around a little bit. But I ain't never seen nobody like I never seen like a gorilla just really just handle a human. Even though it's like we never seen it. Like I never seen a human gorilla just rip a human apart, like nothing like that.
Oh, you must ain't seen none of the King Kong movies.
I'm talking about real life though.
You ever
I'm talking,
seen Planet of the Apes?
no, man, I'm talking about real life though. You ain't never seen that shit.
I'm just saying this is. I think some of those movies is how I probably really would be though. Like
Nah.
certain tactics that a human would use that they think would work against a group of an army of apes or somebody like King Kong. I think they would try some shit like that. It just and you know what I mean.
Nah,
Yeah, real quick, I want to go over this comment we got from the chat. Coaching college kids to reconnect to new ways them guys think and communicate. Then he come back to the NFL. How did I bring it back up again? Then he
okay,
go back to the
refed.
NFL. He was losing the locker room because he's a different breed. Kids entering the yeah. It's I still don't understand it though. I still don't understand it.
It sounds like y'all saying people can't change their tactics, man.
Yeah,
Or
I don't,
y'all don't think his coaching style is going to be able to evolve with the new time.
no.
I don't
So
think
that's what I'm
so.
saying. Like, so you
Yo,
saying
half
that?
these kids
Oh,
coming out
I'm
of
just.
high school was probably like 5 years old when last time he won a Super Bowl.
So you saying Bill Belichick don't have nothing to offer to football, to offer the
No,
coaching?
no, he got something to
Yeah.
offer. But these type of kids that's coming out today is not gonna hold the weight of like, oh, Tom Brady, Bill Belichick. They not holding that weight of like they not looking at him like in awe because half of these kids wasn't even born or they was young children when he won his last Super Bowl. They not looking at it like that. You know what I'm saying? They not looking at it how we look at it, like, oh damn, play for Belichick, bet. But like these kids not coming out. You know what I'm saying? I feel like if you ain't on Dion, like if you ain't on the pulse of what Dion is on, of like letting the kids get their money, letting the kids be themselves, letting them listen to the type of music they like to listen to, like let them buy jewelry and get their likes and get their followers up, like putting their Instagram names on their jersey. They're making sure that they get what they want as far as like popularity, and then put them in a position to, if you really want all this shine and all this glory, you gotta prove it. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, the NFL is being able to perform in front of like the biggest crowds and the biggest audience with all the pressure on you. So he building that stage and see if you can perform on that stage, because they not in the SEC. You know what I'm saying? Which is like the like this is the next step to the next step down from the NFL as far as talent wise and fan wise. You'll get those games all the time. But like if you really want all that popularity and you don't perform, you see what the media say, you see what the fans say, and can you handle that? So it's like a gift and a curse, and Dion knows that. He understands he got his pulse on the youth. I don't think Belichick got his touch on
Yeah,
the youth
but
like,
you
like
gotta
that,
understand,
except for his girlfriend.
but look, he's Mark. But you gotta understand, you pretty much saying it's only one style of winning in football, though.
No, no, I don't think it's a style. I don't think it's. I think it's different styles to win. I just think for him to get that type of talent and wanting kids to come play for that type of tutelage is not a lot of them, bro. It's
But
not a
look,
lot.
don't you know how I get what you're saying? Like the recruiting cell, if I'm going to Colorado, yeah, I might get like some Instagram follows up. I might meet some famous people. I might be getting coached by some, prominent players. But it's still a side of football that they not searching for that type of press and release. You know what I mean? They not searching for. They don't want to be the person out in the front in the flashing lights, because that's a sign. That's I don't think every kid looking like for that, bro. And
Not
I think
every kid.
that's why I think it's going to filter it out, because you're going to have more serious. I ain't going to say, not to say that Deion Sanders style of football is not serious, but I mean, you're going to have people being lured to something, thinking they're going to be the next, this flashy person, be the next person on Burger King commercials and, flashing their wrists. But you could go to UNC and still be just as much as the professional without the cameras and everything like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure. But what kind of kids do you want though? Like, what kind of kids do you want? It
That's
comes
what I'm
down to what
saying.
kind of kids you want.
And that's what I'm saying. I mean, it's like saying you could still build character guys both ways, but I don't think selling the fact that you're going to see a bunch of celebrities is going to make you the best professional, in my opinion. It might
It's
get you more eyes, it might get you more like attention, but it's
It's a
not
half the
going to
battle.
prepare you to be the best professional, in my opinion.
But sometimes they don't want to be the best professional. They want to be on the best stage and have the most fun.
I don't think all the time though. You think all the time?
For the
Bro,
most, I mean, for
nigga,
the most part, that's
you
how it
ain't getting
goes.
nobody running 4-3 going to Bill Belichick, nigga, trying to be like, oh yeah, like you ain't getting them Florida boys acting like that, bro. You ain't getting
Yeah,
them niggas.
that's what I'm
Like,
saying. It depend, and that's why I think it's going to be depending on what type of style of team he going to probably build. Because I think he going to go like defense heavy. He might have to just have one of them like old school. Might have to run that football type offenses, but like
Yeah,
like
but
you
that'll
saying,
work
it's
in
going.
college.
Yeah, it's not going. No, you're right with that though. You're right with that.
hey, put that last comment up.
What's that?
Nah,
Say it
he had
again.
put that
Oh,
last
you ain't see
comment.
it?
No, not that one.
Oh, I think he was probably talking about what I was saying.
It was another
Oh, it
comment that
just
popped
came
up.
up. I just said, yeah,
Yeah, that's the perfect point, because like before they get the cameras on the game, yo, you got people, you got companies reaching out to them and putting that pressure on them. Like, I'm gonna give you $3 million to be the face of this deodorant, but like if your performance don't match the popularity, you lose popularity. Like, you supposed to be on the field performing to bring eyes to this product. That's pressure in itself for a 17-year-old kid. You know what I'm
and
saying?
not even to mention that the kids that's coming in that's not getting the NIL deals off the break. No, if they start making plays, and they start getting on TV and they start getting on ESPN, then those NIL deals will come mid-season. So like they even have even more of an incentive to put that work in to get on the field and start producing. So
Right.
it's like things that they would normally have to wait to get to the NFL to recoup, they can get right now in college. Because like to be honest, a good proportion of these players not going to the NFL. So this is their payday. So you got to
Mm.
think if they know if they go to Dion, Dion is going to put me in a position to make money right now. Then that's one thing versus I'm gonna go to Bill Belichick and I might not make no money now. He's gonna put me in position to get to the NFL. That's not every kid though. Every kid not making it to the NFL. So I think the other side, the way Dion is pursuing it, will give you a greater chance to get these athletes versus going the route which we think that Bill Belichick is going to go and going this pro ready, pro potential route. So it'll be interesting to see.
So
But
so you
I'm
think
gonna go
it so
back to
you
what I
think it's
said. I
like
don't think
a
they're gonna win no games.
so you think it's more of like an instant gratification upon opposed to like a longevity base. Not to say because you already I mean, like you're saying, it is a lower percentage of college kids that's going to be going to college. So you're right, it could be some of the in like that intermediate
You gotta think
payday.
about it. And knowing what I know about social media, it's people on social media making more of the money than people in NFL making. So
Yeah.
if you going to Dion, you know you probably have no chance of making it to the NFL, but you feel like you got enough skill to make it to college football, but then you also got some personality to you. You going to pursue that social media route. You trying to get your popularity up, and you're going to be able to make that money on the back end. So,
Right.
and that's a smart way to do it for a lot of kids, especially those kids that don't think and know they're not going to be going to the NFL.
Facts. Oh, sheesh. How I feel about the transfer portal? I think that's a part of it. I think that's kind of the engine that's making kids jump into the portal. Um, I mean, outside of opportunity, like this is, I think the transfer portal had a good idea, but it turned into something else. So, like, if I put it into like a situation that I was in, right? Like, if I go to a school and I spend a year there, and I'm like, the coach is not, the coach. No, I give you a real situation. I give you a real situation when the transfer portal wasn't even existing, right? So when I went to Rhode Island, right, that year after the year after my freshman year, Northeastern and Hofstra closed their football
Programs.
programs. Their football programs. So they had like a little combine for those two schools, so those kids had opportunities to go other places because it's not their fault that they closed the program. But from that, Rhode Island brung in players from Hofstra and brung in people from Northeastern to the point where like, oh, you bring in. They didn't have to go to a recruiting class. They just brought a whole bunch of other kids in from other schools, which they either can boost your at competitiveness and crowd your position room, or they pick a kid. Oh, I like this kid better, and they put somebody over you, and you stuck in a college that wasn't the dynamic when you first got here. So now you have to, okay, I want to try my luck somewhere else. Let me jump in the transfer portal and seek other opportunity, but that didn't exist then. So it's like I think that was the original plan for the transfer portal for them to have like, okay, you go to a college because you only get what, one or two visits. You can't pick who you going to date after one date. You know what I'm saying? You go there for a year, you don't like it, you leave, you go home, ain't nothing else for you. But now you had a transfer portal, you can put your name back in the pot and then start your recruiting process all over again. But is it being utilized that way?
Yeah, it's cool though because you got to think about it. Back in the day, you could have a situation where you had a coach recruiting you to go to the school and you commit, and then the coach leave and go to another school, or you could have a coach that's saying, "Yeah, yeah, you gonna come in, you gonna be my starting free safety," and then when you get there, they're like, "Oh, we got somebody else here, and like so, I think those kids need to have that option to transfer schools, but at the same time, I think it's getting a little bit too much. Like I think there has to be like a happy medium to where like it
How
has
many
to be some
times you
more
could do it?
guidelines placed around it. Like if this happens, then you can transfer, or if this happens, you can transfer. And that was just like, I don't like. It's like I don't like our jerseys. I'm transferring to another school. Like they
Right.
can kind of transfer for any reason. So I think there needs to be like a little bit of guidelines or some type of rules put on it. But I think it is a good option that the kids have that option because you got to look at it. The coaches always had that option,
Yeah. You
and the
also
school
can get
has that option.
yeah. You also can get stuck in the transfer portal too. So don't think just because you jump in the transfer portal you're gonna get picked. You could just be sitting there and never go to another school. So you gotta be like, it's not like everybody can like just jump in the to the transfer portal. And I think this is a plus side of it. You could ball out. Say if I ball out at a D2 school or D1 AA school, I ball out and I got good tape. And I'm like, man, I want to try my luck to see if I can get picked up by a D1 school. And then I put myself in the transfer portal. I think that's a reasonable, option because I want to be seen by, more
Hmm.
people. So I think that. But if you got that person who just never can get on the field, keep fucking up, and you're like, man, I'm getting a transfer portal. I don't like this coach. And then
Yeah,
jump
like
in there.
what you think gonna happen when you go to the next school?
Yeah. So it's like those people get stuck. But I feel like if you feel like you put enough tape out there, your value go up and you want to try yourself on the market. Yeah, I think that's way more reasonable.
But
I think
But
that's why the
it's
transfer
I,
portal for.
but in the sense, I think the transfer portal. Well, I think the future actually of um like the dynamic around football in general kind of changed to the point. I think it's you can slowly see best like football turning into basketball where you see a lot of people wanting to play together and like stay together. So I think like you see how now you can get into flag football a lot earlier and then football's all year round. What we're going to start seeing is a lot of the Florida people going to the same teams, a lot of people that's tech because they growing up together playing football all year round, and it's kind of like building that comfortability with people. You know what I'm saying? Like how like the Travis Hunters and you only going to see the competitiveness if it's position from position. Like if it's two quarterbacks from a certain town, but I think the town is going to start gravitating towards all the nicer players playing together, like the AAU. So you're
yeah,
gonna just see people going from level to level. Like, oh, my homeboy I played flag football with, and I made it to the nationals with, is playing for Texas. I'm gonna hop in the portal and transfer with him. Oh, my little man's because they all like within like generations of each other in terms of 3 to 4 year gaps, and you get comfortable with playing with certain people. That's kind of going to be like how recruiting is going to start navigating to the being a player dominant league, like swinging this on his head because then it's going to be players more so wanting to play with certain players than want to receive coaching by certain coaches, and then you know what I mean.
yeah,
That makes sense.
yeah, and before we move on to the next topic is one thing that we probably going to stop seeing is the dynasties in college football because if you look at like how Alabama used to stack their teams, like you would have three running backs and like the first, second, and third string all make it to the NFL. So you'll have a fourth string running back that's nice as hell that don't see the field. But because there was no transfer portal, he just had to sit there and wait till his turn. And so you get to your junior year and this your first time playing, you a fresh running back. You ain't played in your first 2 years and now it's your go for the next 2 years and you go off. Well now that kid gonna transfer. So
Which
like
I
you're not gonna
yeah.
have that depth at the bottom of your depth chart to have three, four running backs on the same team that all make it to the NFL. Because that fourth string running back is gonna leave Alabama and he's gonna go to Texas or he's gonna go to Oklahoma or he's gonna go to some other school and start. So it's like
Yeah.
those programs that used to be able to stockpile talent and have like the next three quarterbacks already on the team and the fourth wide receiver run a 4-4 and 6-5, you're not gonna see that no more. So it's going to be a lot more competitive in a I think it makes the game more exciting just because you never know what team is going to be nice from year to year now.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it make the draft boring though.
You know what?
How? What you mean?
You know what's different about the draft this year is like I remember the years past. Like I would know a good portion of the players in the draft, but
Mm-mm.
now it's like you don't know it. And every time I watch the draft, they talking about them. That player been on two different teams already in college,
That's
so
what I'm
it's like
saying.
it's hard to keep track of the players. And then it's funny though because you look at the video games, right? Normally the top players are on the cover of the game. I think the top three players that was on college football, Travis Hunter was the only one that was a first rounder. The other one was like a fifth
Viewers,
rounder, and
yeah.
then the other one wasn't even drafted. So it's like you don't even know who's going to be the top players because it's so many different scenarios and variables that you gotta try to consider when you're looking at who's going to be the top players in the league.
And that's why I think the transfer portal is not is the negative side of the transfer portal. You don't have people that you don't get a lot of dogs. You know what I'm saying? Like think about like Kendrick said, the Alabama running backs. It was the best, either the number one running back in the nation or the second best running back in the nation. That's how they usually would pick up their players. And if you're not getting that tutelage for year one, year two, learning how to earn your keeps, learning how to earn your spot on the field, your position on the field, you're getting a lot of weak-minded players that go to another team in probably another division or another conference and be a dog, but they never had to fight or scratch and claw to get that earned in spot. They're like, oh, I can't get my spot. I can't go on the field here. They got different coaches, and they learning different things, different techniques everywhere they go, to the point where that's why after the first round it kind of evened out. You hear EDC say like, "Yo, the draft evened out after the first second round because now you got a whole bunch of players that you can't really evaluate because they haven't had the same tutelage throughout their 4 years or 3 years of college. So you just getting like these mid players that still need a lot of coaching up."
Yeah, and it's really going to come down to the teams that have the best coaching staffs in the NFL, and then the best evaluators because what you're saying a lot of teams do in these
Facts,
later
niggas be 30.
rounds. Say it again.
Yeah, them niggas be 30 years old. Varsity.
Yeah, and what you saying these teams doing in the later rounds is they just drafting off of like how we doing that and off of statistics and measurables. What's their height? What's their 40 rate? And how many bench press they did? Like you
Right.
don't have that much tape on these players to watch, so you just kind of drafting off of physical attributes, and hopefully you can coach them up at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
find specific players to plug into the systems.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 We are getting those. Like we got Bo Nix. Uh, Bo Nix came out at an older age. We had a couple. We had a couple QBs that came out at older ages. Shit, Shiloh 24 coming
Mm-hmm.
into the league. So it's like, yeah, we get a lot of older players. Just because they have that flexibility. The NCAA is a lot looser on adding years, giving them extra years, graduate years. Like I don't know, bro. It's so me NCAA so loose. They don't have nothing like sturdy that they can like. They're gonna need something in place for before it get out of hand. Cause it's crazy that like yo, maybe when we was in high school, feel like imagine like the next step. Like you only had one more step to get to a bag. Like the bag just got closer. Like imagine being in high school knowing if you go off on this Friday, Saturday, that the next level you can get to, you can
Yeah,
start making the bread.
yeah, exactly. The next level is bread. That's a different type of motivation.
Like damn, like the bread just got a step closer. Like bro, like nigga, I would have been the nicest rapping QB in high school, nigga. like I would have used everything that I had going on to promote. You know what I'm saying?
The
Oh, that's a
Browns.
good.
Mm,
Do you
Yeah,
think he make the
That's a good
Browns?
question. That's a good question.
I,
Yo, that's a
talent
good
wise, he
question.
should, but again, I think there's something else at play other than talent. Because, like I said, if it was just based off talent, he wouldn't have lasted the fifth round. So I don't know. There's going to be a lot of politics going on. I think I normally don't get too involved even in the Ravens preseason games, but I'm gonna pay extra attention to the Browns preseason this year.
Yeah,
For sure.
I imagine
Yeah,
it's gonna.
I agree. It's going to come down to politics because all the coaches going to put them in the best position to look successful, and that's what it's going to come down to in them preseason games. And we're going to see it. The writing's on the wall a little bit, just based on some of the antics that went on during the draft. You could tell they was kind of uninterested. So how much are they going to try to pour into him to like allow
Yeah,
him to be the guy? Because
because
I
you got to
think
think
it's a lot of trust that
they have five on the roster right now. There's going to be at least two of those are not going to be on the team.
right,
So
right.
it'll be interesting to see if he even starts the season on the Browns roster or if he's somewhere else. But the bad part about that is, and what they could do to him will be wrong, but like they could be one of those situations where they wait to the last cut and release him, and then at that point he doesn't have an opportunity to show another team what he has because the preseason is over at that point. So it's like they could really screw him, and they only use a fifth round pick on him, so it's not like it's really gonna hurt them. So like I said, it's the Browns, so whatever they end up doing is gonna be the wrong thing. So
Yeah,
we just hope whatever it is it doesn't hinder him and his career too much. And like the best case scenario is there's another team that has I don't want to pray for an injury on a quarterback, but the best case scenario is another team that all of a sudden has a quarterback need and wants to send a fourth or a third round pick to the Browns to get Shador. So we'll see what happens as the preseason goes, but it's definitely gonna be interesting.
yeah, and that's weird math on that team for different reasons, right? So you got how many snaps does he get at
Yeah.
practice? See, that it says weird math to that because you got to think they got five QBs on their
Well,
roster,
really
right?
four, really
Well, really
four,
four,
but
because
Really four. But I'm breaking down the math though. Like you got Deshaun Watson. If you draft two quarterbacks, you know you trade for one, you sign one, you draft two. That's just signs that they don't want to. They want to get from under Deshaun Watson. Those Deshaun Watson is out of the category. They're probably not looking for him to play a Brown snap again, right?
mhm.
Then you get Joe Flacco. You know what he can do. You know what I'm saying? He's a wildly veteran. He probably start the season. You know you could trust him, right? We seen Kenny Pickett. You trade for Kenny Pickett, so you got to think that he'll make the team. You trade for him. Yeah, I mean he can still get cut. So let's keep him still in the cut scenario. Then you get a third round draft pick. You draft another quarterback in the third round. You most likely will keep him, right? Because he's a third rounder. You probably keep him. Then you get Shador Sanders, right? One of the most popular QBs coming out of college. High like the most popular player you got right now, and he's a fifth round pick. And you want to think business wise, like damn, yo, this motherfucker bringing like a new fan base to us, a fan crazy going to college, high schools, they going crazy. When the last time you seen the fifth round draft pick and the fans are like, ah, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? That's crazy. So you got a popular kid, you got a dude you draft in the third round, you got a dude and Kenny Pickett that is probably on a chopping block if these two rookies do what they supposed to do, and then you got the wildly veteran and Joe Flacco that you're not gonna cut, right? So if you think about it, the only people on the chopping block is probably Kenny Pickett and Shador Sanders, right? So if you already know Joe Flacco is who he is, he probably won't get that many snaps. Then I think it'll probably be Kenny Pickett that get the first team snaps, and then Shador and the other quarterback from Oregon split the second snaps.
Dylan.
Dylan Gabriels, they split the second snaps. I think the competition is really between uh uh Dylan and Shador, and I think he had to beat him out in the training camp. But I think Kenny Pickett and Shador are really the real ones that got to really show themselves the most.
I think for this to make any sense, the Browns need to get rid of another quarterback before training camp starts.
I think it's gonna be Kenny.
Whatever that looks like, if it's a trade,
I mean,
I don't see how you go into
you don't
training
have no
camp with
trade
no
capital. Ain't no
quarterback.
really no trade capital there.
I mean, it might be some trade for Shador. I feel like the most valuable dude they got right now is Shador. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta think. Just let's think. Now, of course,
I'm just thinking business wise.
all of these same teams already passed on him. But you got to think if a team has an unforeseen quarterback need, some teams just like the Steelers are banking everything on um, Aaron Rodgers right now. If that falls through, it could be the Brown, it could be the Steelers looking for a quarterback. Even though they drafted a quarterback, that quarterback is a project to say the least. So they don't expect to get anything out of him this year. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, for
Mm-mm.
sure. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I feel like anybody. I feel like that's
Yeah.
the allure for organizations to get Shador, bro. Like it's like, it's crazy because he hasn't played a snap in the NFL, but it's the same curse that was like detrimental to Cam Newton. Like nobody wanted to sign Cam Newton, knowing that they didn't want him to be the first string quarterback, but they couldn't have him on the bench either.
Right.
So it's like, damn, like do I bring Cam Newton in? But do we can we put Cam Newton at second string, yo? Because they just gonna be calling for him. And that's gonna put like the whoever starting in a bad predicament in the organization in a bad predicament. And that's the same thing that comes with Shador. Like you get Shador, they're gonna be like, put Shador in. Like, come on, like what we
First of
doing?
all, the Gabriel has that's the thing. Gabriel has no chance to succeed because let's
No.
say he beats out Shador and gets playing time at some point. As soon as he starts playing bad, they're gonna be asking for Shador to be put in the game.
Yeah, he had the
Right.
most pressure.
So like I don't. That's why I said the them doing that made no sense.
Sense,
Like
no sense.
everybody goes back to when Washington took RG3 and they took Kirk Cousins in the same draft. But that's a different scenario because RG3 is a number one pick. There's no debate that he's the starter. So he would have to play a lot of bad football before people would start calling for Kirk Cousins.
Right.
This is a total opposite. This is the total opposite. You have a third round pick and a fifth round pick that was supposed to be a first round pick. So it just didn't make sense. I still don't understand. I still don't understand the thinking. And like I said, it's gonna be real interesting to see what plays out over the preseason. So we definitely gonna have a lot more to say about this as the preseason starts up within like what, like a month or
Yeah,
two.
like a month and a half, maybe. Yeah.
Oh man,
It's
goodness
gonna come.
gracious, it's gonna be a
Can't,
circus, yo.
I can't wait till the football season start, man. It's gonna be a good one.
It's gonna be a circus, man. Damn.
What else we got, Phil?
Let's see.
I
Oh,
know I
we
know
could.
we were talking about the Ravens just had their rookie mini
Yes.
camp.
So Ravens just had that rookie mini camp today. First round draft picks get the first look at guys, which raise a question in the Ravens community, like, what's next with the kicker situation? Is this like, since we got Tyler Luke that was drafted in the sixth round? There is this a farewell to Justin Tucker officially?
I think so, and the reason I say this, we was actually having this conversation before the draft, and we were saying if the Ravens draft the kicker, it's a wrap because the Ravens don't draft kickers. This is actually the first time the Ravens ever drafted a kicker in franchise history.
Damn.
Even Justin Tucker was an unsigned free agent. So like they saw something in this kicker to know that he has the potential to be a starter. But not only that, that is just letting you know that they saw that they had a need at the position. Whether that's the legal issues or whether that's the decline in play over the last couple years, but whatever the case is, they have identified that they have a need at kicker. So they're not in the business of cutting draft picks. So he's going to be on the roster somewhere. Now there has been years where we did carry two kickers where one did the kickoffs and one did
The point.
field goals. But I don't think this. I don't think that's going to be the case. If he performs decently in training camp and in preseason, I think we might have seen the last kicks from Justin Tucker.
Damn.
So you agree with John Harbaugh. John Harbaugh stated it's a football move. Like being that it's not based on what the speculations are with Justin Tucker. It's kind of just been based on his recent play. So
Bullshit.
it makes sense. No, but it
Bullshit.
makes
I'm
I think it
bullshit.
makes sense to me. I think it makes sense to me. I mean, based on his last season performance, people kind of like, all right, we might have seen the best of him.
I think it's one major thing y'all not considering when we say it's a football move. It's
What's
a
that?
business move because he's is he still one of the top 15 kickers in the league? Yes.
Yes.
But
Yeah, I agree.
we forget that he is the highest paid kicker in the league. That part is gonna was that's gonna be what gets him off the team. You got to think we already got to pay Lamar Jackson. They already got all these contracts coming up. Can you really afford to have the highest paid kicker with maybe when he ranks maybe 15th in the league right now? So you got to think you're gonna take that burden of the highest paid kicker off the books and pay a rookie who's probably making nothing. So you looking at it from that scenario, and they invested the draft capital, and he got court cases pending. It's like the
That's what I'm
writing's on the
saying.
wall.
I think the writing's on the wall.
Yeah,
I
we're
think
gonna be
all
seeing
I think all three goes. It doesn't go in his favor. Yeah, we gotta get you on and get her testimony.
was she a victim? What happened? That's crazy though, yo. Yeah, and I don't think the Ravens in the business of keeping players that got that shit over their head. I mean, Ray Lewis was like had a body on him, but still,
Yeah, but you got to think he was
That's Ray
he was the
Lewis.
best. He was still at the top of his game at that point.
yeah,
So
man, that's
even though
Yeah,
it
wild.
we
ain't
don't
right,
know.
even though it
Ray,
ain't right, that's how it works.
they let Ray Rice go right after that shit though.
Yeah.
That's
All right,
tough.
y'all know the new game, the GTA pushed back its release date. Good thing, bad thing. Are we worried? Think it's
It sucks. I think we all kind of had a feeling it was going to happen. Like I think I read something where they said every GTA that ever came out, the release date was pushed back. The good thing is we actually have a date now,
hmm
so we actually have a release date now. Um, I feel like the game was too close to actually come out without even having a second trailer yet. So I kind of had a feeling that was coming. But like again, we got like a little bit under a year before the game comes out. So, of course, I wish it would have been coming out this year, but whatever the case is, I'm still buying it when it comes out.
Yeah,
you think it's a way this a way to drive up their sales? Or you think it might have been an actual probably thing with it, like development wise? Did it say?
Oh, it got to be development wise because if the game, you got to think if they had the game ready to where they thought it was ready, they bringing the game out because you know how much money they gonna make. So the fact that they pushing it back is a good thing for the consumers because that lets you know they don't want to bring out a game that's half done. You got
Yeah.
to
hmm
think they've been working on this game for over 10 years. So what's an extra 6 months at this point to knock out the last little wrinkles to make sure that when we finally get our hands on it, that is flawless, and we don't have to worry about server issues. We don't have to worry
Yeah.
about any glitches. I think a lot of the things they're working on right now is making sure that there's no glitches and there's no cheats on the online mode because like I was telling y'all earlier, there's a rumor that there's gonna be a whole ecosystem, a whole economy that can translate to real world money. So you gotta make sure your in game economy is locked down. There's no glitches, there's no no way to work the system. So that's a lot of the things that they probably focusing on right now. You got to think the main game was probably done a while ago. So it's mostly like fine tuning, looking for glitches,
Right.
those type of things. And it probably was something that they found that they see that they need to do a little bit more work on before they release it. So, again, like I said, it's disappointing, but I think they know best, and I think once they do release it, they're gonna make a lot of money, a
Yeah.
lot of
Because it's
money.
gonna be a lot of money going through it for sure.
Yeah.
With them private service setups and all that.
Yeah.
We got any we doing any music reviews or
No, we don't got
any
no music reviews tonight.
But if y'all do got y'all music, make sure y'all send that in. We're gonna be doing
Yeah.
live music reviews. If you have any art you want us to check out,
Yep.
yeah,
send it
drop
in.
the link.
Drop the link. Send it to You can send it to Philly. You can send it to me. You see it. Send it to K. We'll make sure we get you on the show. We will be having live music reviews. Once we get a good streamline of artists hitting us up, we'll start doing our live reviews and have contests and so forth moving forward. So we're excited for that in the future.
Yes, sir.
All right,
Is that
Phil,
the
take us out.
I can't hear y'all. My thing mic. Say again?
Cheers.
No, I'm
He
saying
said
take us
take
out,
it.
Phil.
Yeah.
Oh, welcome to, thank you. Thank you, fam, for joining our live stream today.
Thank you.
Another episode from the Crib Podcast with your boy Philly Cash, KE. Let's go. Join us next time. Like, follow, and subscribe. Appreciate you fellas tonight.
Peace out.